Since its inception, WWE's Developmental brand has been home to some of the best wrestling on the planet. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 WWE NXT matches. Number 10, Cesaro vs Sami Zayn, NXT Arrival. NXT's first WWE Network special featured a number of memorable matches, but it was the opening match of the night that stole the show. Cesaro had already been on the main roster for several years, but the decision was made to have him feud with WWE newcomer Sami Zayn part-time following a fantastic match on NXT the previous year. After an intense 22 minutes, underdog Sami Zayn would come up short again, but this thrilling opening bout helped set the bar for what NXT was truly capable of, and showed the fans it was more than just a developmental territory. Number 9, Sanity vs Undisputed Era vs Authors of Pain and Roderick Strong. TakeOver War Games. 2017 was an incredible year for the black and yellow brand. One of the highlights was this modern take on a classic hardcore stipulation featuring both phenomenal action and memorable storytelling. A perfect storm of tension brewing between several factions on the NXT roster led to this cage match dual ring melee with all manner of weapons locked inside. The match went well over the half-hour mark and contained highlight reel moments from everyone involved, proving it was a calculated and worthwhile risk bringing War Games back for modern audiences. Undisputed Era would walk out as winners, further enforcing their dominance since their debut just a few months before. Number 8, The Revival vs DIY. TakeOver Toronto. It's been heartbreaking to see the way The Revival has been handled on the main roster, because having seen what they did in NXT, it's clear the team are capable of much more. This 2016 barn burner featured some of the most exciting tag action of the year, with the teams facing off in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the NXT Tag Team Championship. The match showed off the perfect chemistry of both teams, with a tense pace and dramatic finish. After Revival scored the first fall, DIY was forced to come from behind and eventually take the win. Number 7, Velveteen Dream vs Adam Cole vs Lars Sullivan vs Killian Dain vs Ricochet vs EC3. NXT TakeOver New Orleans. Pacing is incredibly important in multi-person matches, especially lengthier ones, and this 6-man ladder match to determine NXT's first North American champion had pitch-perfect pacing. The match allowed standout moments from each man, including the WWE debut of independent fan favorite Ricochet. After 30 minutes of high-octane excitement, just when it looked like Ricochet would pull out the win, Adam Cole knocked him off the ladder and secured the championship, giving the match a heartbreaking but clever finish. Number 6, Sami Zayn vs Neville. TakeOver Our Evolution. Arguably, the best rivalry of early NXT was between these two men. After several shots at the title, in which Neville unfairly defeated Zayn, Sami was given one final chance to defeat Neville and win, and promised that if he lost, he would leave NXT. The perfectly booked build-up culminated in this incredible match between two friends with fantastic chemistry. Finally, the underdog from the underground was able to beat Neville, winning the NXT title, ready to celebrate with his best friend Kevin Owens, who just debuted that very same night. In an absolutely shocking moment, Owens turned on Zayn and the former friends became bitter enemies. Number 5, Sami Zayn vs Shinsuke Nakamura. NXT TakeOver Dallas. The final Sami Zayn match on our list. Boy, that guy sure was something, huh? This match was the highly anticipated NXT debut of New Japan megastar Shinsuke Nakamura. The match was exactly what fans had hoped for, with the two men matching move for move in a technical masterclass. The excitement in the crowd of seeing Nakamura in a WWE ring for the first time is electric, and it truly adds to the match, which isn't always the case with NXT crowds. Just as the match was Nakamura's introduction to NXT, it also served as Zayn's goodbye, as he had already debuted on the main roster. Number 4, Bayley vs Sasha Banks. TakeOver Respect. Two key figures of the WWE's Women's Revolution faced off in this excellent 30-minute Iron Man match for the NXT Women's Championship. The match holds the distinction of being the first women's Iron match and the first women's match to main event a WWE pay-per-view. Bayley had previously beat Banks for the title at NXT Brooklyn, and this rematch concluded the pair's feud for the time being. Throughout the fight, the women looked evenly matched, trading pins before Bayley was able to counter a Banks statement into an armbar, forcing Sasha to tap just seconds before the match's finish and retaining her NXT Championship as Sasha headed up to the main roster. Number 3, Johnny Gargano vs Andrade Cien Almas. TakeOver Philadelphia. Almas and Gargano met the night before the Royal Rumble and put on one of the most well-received matches in NXT's brief history. The timing and chemistry present in this match are a wonder to see and keep the pace rocketing forward despite clocking in at over 30 minutes. Gargano plays the underdog perfectly here, with Almas as the vicious champ doing whatever it takes to retain. In an exhilarating and unexpected finish, Almas pins Gargano with a massive DDT. To add insult to injury, after losing, Gargano is savagely attacked by his returning former best friend, Tommaso Ciampa. More on that soon. Number 2, Tyler Bate vs Pete Dunne. TakeOver Chicago. Talk about winning over a crowd. After winning the company's inaugural UK tournament and becoming the first UK champion, Tyler Bate was tasked with defending his title against the tournament's runner-up, the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne, in front of a notoriously tough Chicago crowd as a pair of relatively unknowns. Not only did the match win over that night's crowd, but it launched both men into the conversation as two of the best wrestlers in the world. Dunne would win the hard-fought contest with his finisher, the Bitter End, and thus began his lengthy UK Championship reign. Number 1, Johnny Gargano vs Tommaso Ciampa. TakeOver Chicago 2. Gargano and Ciampa's friendship-turned-war is one of the best stories the WWE has told in years, and their brutal street fight rematch, despite being incredibly recent, has raised the bar for NXT. The match feels like a precise work of art, with meaningful action and genuine character moments. Not only that, but the level of in-ring work is some of the best that the WWE has seen in years. Featuring multiple huge moments, this match encapsulates that big fight feel. The feud between these two feels like something really extraordinary, and we can't wait to see where it's headed next. Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.